You know, speaking of K-pop, right? Do you know who likes this, right? Nobody but you, man. Back in the day, it can be pretty tricky to decide on the right C-segment sedan for you. But Honda made it very easy when it launched the 10th generation Civic, especially with the 1.5-litre VTEC turbo engine. Practical, powerful and refined, I believe that this is the best car in the C-segment today. But some people have other ideas.
Oh, yes, right. The Civic. Great and all, but don't you think it's a bit predictable? Well, if you think the way I think, you probably want to get something a bit more far left field, and I've got the answer right here. Meet the Hyundai Elantra Sport Turbo. 1.6 turbo, 7-speed DCT, not CVT, and marginally cheaper than that, but I would say equally as good. Don't you think?
On paper, it's easy to see that both the Civic and Elantra Sport are neck and neck. Of course, there's only one way to decide this, and it involves a road test. But here's a twist. Daryl's gonna drive the Elantra and I'll drive the Civic instead.
My goodness. Is he fucking serious? I mean, look at the seats. Speak of the devil. You know, I'm surprised they didn't make the seatbelts red as well.
You don't need to, man. Check out this red sport seats, hey.
Seriously?
Look, it's Korean. It's a little more spunky, like K-pop. I'm not a fan of K-pop, but I'm digging this cabin. It's not bad. Alright, could be better, but you know what? I'm okay with it, you know? Drive the car, drive the car.
Okay,
You see what I'm
I'll
talking
give
about.
it the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, looks is subjective, but it does feel great to me.
Yeah, but still the seats, man. I mean, okay, the exterior I can live with that. That is almost BMW M4, but this Haval M4 lah, bro.
No,
Come on, man.
no. Alright. Each to his own, okay? Each to his own. 6-speaker, touchscreen, dual zone air conditioning. Oh, by the way, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto ready. Sweet. 6 airbags and bro, got a blind spot info system.
Not bad. Not bad.
Does your Civic have blind spot info system?
No, but as far as I recall, it doesn't have blind spots. Even better. But okay lah. I mean, driving it, it's not too bad. The powertrain, well, especially the transmission line, the dual clutch, does feel a bit more natural than the Civic CVT.
And you've got flappy pedals for the dual clutch. Sporty, bro.
Yeah.
It's sporty, bro.
The Civic has pedals too.
Yeah, but it's for a CVT. So, in town driving, this DCT feels alright, no?
It does. I think the biggest concern with DCTs is that when you drive it slow, it tends to jerk a bit, but so far this is doing pretty alright. And, well, in town, the NVH is really not bad.
Right. What'd you give her the beans, man? That's right.
Very. In terms of the powertrain, I would say that it can hold its own against the Civic lah, but when you really try to drive it a bit more spiritedly, I think for some odd reason the steering and the brakes, they're just not quite up to the standard that the powertrain sets. Whereas the Civic, everything is just better rounded. All in, I'll say that it's not as bad as I thought it'd be. In terms of the engine and transmission, it can definitely give the Civic a run for its money, but everything else about the drive, while decent, it's not quite. It's not exactly a world better than the Civic lah. And sure, it's comfortable, it's quiet, but it's a good car overall. But I still don't see it being the better car. It's a good attempt.
Okay, it's a good attempt, no doubt,
Yeah.
but let's give Hyundai a little more credit here, huh?
They've definitely closed the gap. I think that's what we can agree on.
Yeah. So
They've definitely closed the
as
gap.
good as any Japanese, almost.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Here we are, 10th generation Civic, and immediately what I don't like here is the slightly cramped space for my legs right here because of this huge tunnel where this whole center bin is taking up, but you know what, it's livable. You know what, Daryl?
Yes.
There's one thing I like about this Honda over the Hyundai. The meter display is so much cooler.
Full digital, man.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, you still have what pretends to be analog, but it's actually digital, and that's really cool. For me, I've mentioned this before, is the center bin.
Yeah.
Lego. I'd like a little bit more, if you don't mind, you know?
You drive Kangkang or what? I know it's not as powerful as the Elantra. Gearbox also probably not as engaging as the Elantra's DCT, but I'd like to think of how the Civic performs as an iPhone. It's not quite the most feature-packed, or it doesn't have the best specifications, but it makes full use of what it has.
You know what it likes? It likes color. You need a dash of red.
If you want a dash of red, there's a Civic Type R.
You see what I did there just now? Checking my blind spot. No, man. The blind spot in the Hyundai the blind spot system in the Hyundai is a lot better and quite neat.
Okay lah, it's quite impressive lah for that segment to have the blind spot sensors.
But I believe it's also, let's use the smartphone analogy. You're right, this is a bit like an iPhone. You know, it does lag in certain areas here and there, whereas the Androids are over-spec'd to sell.
The Samsung lah, which is the Elantra.
Yeah. Like a Samsung. You're right. And you know, I hate to admit this. This car's got slightly better English. You can notice it, but it's not like a mile bigger or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's noticeable, man. Oops, can't say that.
Put it this way, like, it's the best selling car in the segment in Malaysia, and so many Malaysians can't be wrong.
I disagree there. So many Malaysians can get things wrong in a number of things. But okay lah. In the Civic's case, I guess most Malaysians aren't wrong there.
Yeah.
Okay, seriously, how do you live with this CVT roar?
Well, it's not that bad. Not compared to earlier CVTs.
Wow. It's not as vague as in the Elantra.
Yeah, I think with the Civic, Honda really managed to balance, to really hit the balance of something that's comfortable, practical, and nice to drive all in one package.
I can see that, you know, there
Yeah.
is a draw with this car with the way it looks. I still don't like the way it looks inside. I'm not particularly fond of this car's rear end.
Yeah.
And speaking of rear ends, I can see the back seat's quite decent, but they don't fold, do they?
Sadly, no. That's probably my biggest problem with this car. But, well,
The Elantra seats for 60/40 split.
yes, I know. Even if you could somehow get the seats to come off, there's a bar right across the back of the seats. But I would say that's built-in ultra racing, bro.
Oh my god.
If you put aside its quirks, the Elantra is actually a pretty good car. In fact, I think Hyundai has really knocked it out of the park in terms of the engine and the transmission. It's really good to drive. But whether it's better than the Civic, I'm still not quite convinced. In fact, don't take it from me, let's hear it from the Elantra fanboy.
Thanks, Daryl. Well, you know what? I'll admit, I'll concede that the Civic is still the segment king, and for good reason. It's still the best all-rounder, is what Daryl claims it to be. But at the end of the day, if you're the thinking man, this is the choice you go for. But if you don't mind taking down a different path down the left field, you want to take a look at the Elantra. And it's worth mentioning, in the company of the C segment turbocharged sedans field, the Elantra has a surprisingly good long-term prospect.